What if you could take that risk, make that change, reach that goal, live your best life? Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast, where we get together with amazing experts and everyday people who share challenges, encourage healing, and explore the possibilities that life has to offer. I'm your host, Gary Scott, and I'm excited that you're along for the ride. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the What If You Could podcast. And today, my bright, shiny, lovely guest is Dr. Sue McCreadie. Hi, Dr. Sue.
Hey, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've gone down the Sue McCreadie rabbit hole, and there's so much there. There's so much goodness and yumminess. But real quick, I'm just going to read your very awesome short intro, and we'll get cooking. That okay with you?
Cool.
Cool biz. Everybody, we have Dr. Sue is a holistic pediatrician and midlife transformation expert who helps women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond navigate hormones, all right? Navigate hormones, heartbreak, and healing so they can stop settling and start living with joy. Dr. Sue's mission is to make transformation simple, soulful, and even fun. Because when women rise, we raise the vibration of the world for our children. Holy
Amen.
Toledo, that good golly goodness, we can't, that's all good stuff, right? Because we love women and we love our children, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. I can't wait to dive in, but I do have just one question. That's it. And then I'll promise I'll shut up. Is for the What
hmm
If You Could podcast, Dr. Sue, have you ever had a what if you could moment or a what if you could thought that you'd love to share with the gang?
Um, yes, I have. The most recent one, I feel like I feel like that's the story of my life. It's like, what if you could? And then I go out and try to do it.
That's
Do you want
good.
do you
What's the
want the
most
late
recent
do you want
one?
the most recent one? The
No, it could
most
be
recent,
anything.
okay, the most recent one that when you said that, what came to mind is this. Most recently, so it would have been, yeah, about a year ago. Well, 2 years ago, then my husband said, or actually 3 years ago, a few years ago, my husband said, he's done this really hard bike cycling challenge where you're cycling up. It's called Mount Washington. It's on the East Coast in New Hampshire. And it's super hard and also really inspiring. I had seen him do it years ago when he was younger, not that much younger, but still younger. And it was one of those moments at the finish line, Gary, where I was like, I was in tears watching these people go up. That's one of the steepest in the whole world, like 23 in the world. And it's basically you're climbing 4,000 feet over 7 miles. It's
Wow.
insanity. And
Yeah.
I feel like she was one of the last women, if not the last woman up that thing. And I just started crying. I like ran to her. I'm like, you're amazing. While she's probably thinking like, I suck. I'm like, you are amazing. You are amazing. And so that was it. So we left the race and I was like, that was so inspirational. Oh my gosh. And then lo and behold, a few years ago, my husband's like, what if you do that with me? And I was like, like I so didn't want to do it, Gary. I was like started like tears started brimming in my eyes. And he's like, what if? And I just like, I know what I'm signing up for. I am signing up for grueling training, like week after week after week. So the what if, the first round one, we get to the mountain, we get to the bottom, it's race day, and there are hurricane force winds on the peak. And I'm like,
Thank you, universe, for that one.
yes. I was like in celebration, Gary. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I get to go home to my girls. I'm alive. Nothing is happening. And as you can imagine, there's not many women on this race. Okay. So I'm sitting around with a bunch of dudes. And it occurs to them all of a sudden, they're like, are you happy? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. Happy. What's wrong with you? Oh my gosh, all these dudes are like mourning, like we didn't get to do our challenge. I'm like, we out of here, people. Like, let's go.
Let's
I'm
go.
alive. I'm alive. And
I did
so
it.
I did it. I said I did it. I did the training, you know. My husband, he's so sweet. He was like deflated. And we get in the car and he says, before we even like pull away, he's like, will you come back next year with me and do it? I was like, yes, I will.
Dude, that's just look, I said I'd do it once, all right?
Yes, I will. Lo and
Yeah.
behold, I trained for another entire year. And this day we get a gorgeous day. It's a gorgeous day. I have no business being on that mountain, even though I've trained for a couple of years. Absolutely none. My husband is like, so we're in like they do off by like age cohorts, right? So um we're in like the 50 to 55 age group, I think. So we both left at the same and we were on the same thing. There was only like four other women there with me. And I was sitting there going, what am I doing? Like, why did I say yes to this? And then boom, like off we go. My husband's off. He's up. He's like an athlete. I mean, he's an athlete. So he's climbing this mountain and I'm back with, I call us the clowns. I'm back in the circus. I'm with the clowns in the back.
In the
it
circus.
was
They're
it was
juggling. We're
we're
making balloon
juggling. We're just
animals.
like, what is going on here? I had, oh my gosh. I could take you mile by mile on that race, but what if I could? The goal was, what if I could actually cross the finish line on my bike? And I did.
Yes.
And also, though, there was crazy happenings in between the start and the finish of that, including like one woman fell off in the ditch. And I was like, are you okay? Thinking like, I cannot get off this bike. Like,
You don't stop or you'll start
don't
going
stop.
backwards.
Yeah. And then minutes later, I'm walking with my bike and she's like, hey, how are ya? Like waving past me. I like clipping on if you're not a cycler is like clipping your foot into the pedal. I mean, it's a thing. I had
Yeah.
just practiced the day before clipping on the mountain, meaning like you're at a dead stop and
You
you got
had
to
not
clip
trained
on.
you had not trained clipping into your shoes yet?
Not on a mountain. It's hard enough for me just like day to day. And the day before, my husband's like, "Oh, we should like practice you clipping on."
Yeah. Dad, Poppy, that's a good idea because you fall over if you can't
You
get your
fall over. And
boom.
so it is so much about a mindset. Like, what if you could? And the thing is that the day before I successfully clipped in like at a start on the mountain. However, I also fell over, but I knew I could do it. So I had to like pump myself. I was like, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. And like, it was just, it was crazy. I don't want the whole podcast to be about that race, but that was what if you could. I did cross that finish line on my bike. And I will say, it was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of hard things. That was like,
We
it was
can
a
do hard
moment.
things.
We can
We
do
could
hard
do hard
things.
things,
It
Mama. We
was
could
a,
do hard things.
it was a moment of euphoria. Like that word euphoria. It was just a moment of euphoria. And you know what's amazing about the whole thing, Gary, was hours later what my mind did. I was totally blown away. We're sitting at our celebration dinner, just my husband and I. And we're, breaking the bread and eating the butter and eating all the things. Like we're just like, and he's like making an announcement jokingly. He's like, oh my gosh, she's eating bread and butter, because I like, it's like funny. So the race results come out as we get a ding like on our phone. All of a sudden, I was like, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I was not anywhere. I was very near the end. The entire of all the finishers.
But you weren't in the end. But you weren't the last one.
And all of a sudden, my mind was like, I must have been the fourth woman. I mean, if I wasn't the fourth, I was close to the fourth woman in my age group. So you can it's like funny how the mind goes, right? Like you could
Yeah.
say, dude, you're one of four women in your age group who even said yes to that crazy thing. How about that? You know? And versus like the mind was like, that wasn't that big of a deal. I should have trained harder. I wish I could have stayed on my bike the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? So it was such like a mind and getting myself out of that, like to actually the best gift of that whole thing, Gary, was the girl, our daughters.
Yeah.
That's what brought me to my knee. Like I literally fell over on the bed and just wept because I still like the emotion for one of them. It was such a big deal to her that her mom did this. Like she could
That's awesome.
not believe that I made it up that mountain. Can you feel
I got
that?
just got goosebumps. Yeah, I
And
got the goosebumps
and to me,
because
like that
mom's a
feels
badass, and when your kids admit to that, like, because your kids, my two boys will
mhm,
bust my chops all the
all
time,
the
but
time.
when they do say, "Dad, you're pretty badass," I'm just like,
Yes.
the clouds open up. I'm like, I am a
I'm a
badass.
badass.
My kids have affirmed
Yeah. And and I and even for my husband, yeah, he wept like because that was I mean to see
it.
the impact that it has, and that goes full circle to why I'm even here today. Like that is the thing. It's not about climbing the mountain because all of the mountains are different, but it's about saying yes. It's about women saying yes and having the mindset and the wherewithal and like having the tools in their toolbox to say yes, endure it, whatever the mountain is, and impact their children in a way that that's going to stay with them for a lifetime. Like when they come up against a hard thing, I don't know what it will be, and they've had hard things. We'll continue to have hard things.
Yeah.
Um, is yeah, well, if she can do that, I can do that. You know,
I
not
love
that
that.
that's the same thing, but that's what it's really about. It's about the ripple effect for children. So it's a great story to share that.
I love it. I love it because I used to tell my boys all the time when they were acting up. I'd say, "Do you know how hard your birth was?" And they go, "Dad, you didn't have us. Mom did." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not the point, okay? I was there when it happened. So you can do hard
You can
things,
do hard things.
right? I mean, and it's just that's such a great analogy to use.
Mm.
I mean, you could just throw it in their face like they're like, "Mom, I can't do this homework." I'm like, "Dude, did you see me bike up that hill? You can do your homework. You
You
can
can do
get
it.
this test, right?"
You can get this
Oh, I love
done.
it. I love
Hmm.
it. And I've been a cyclist. I haven't cycled in years, but I used to be a pretty hardcore
Did
cyclist, so
you?
I get it. And runner and triathlete. I live out in Palm Springs, California, and we have the tram. There's a tramway that runs
Hmm.
up the hill, right? And so every year in October they have the Tram Road Challenge, where you run up the tram road,
Oh,
and
right.
it's only 3 miles, but they call it like a 10K. It's like running a 10K because you're just going straight uphill, right? And I thought I trained pretty good the first time I did it. I've done it like 6 or 7 times, and I'm literally standing still sometimes. I'm like not even running. I'm like, I think I'm going backwards. I don't even think I'm right. It's like, so when you stop and get off your bike, there is no shame in that. Trust me, there is
Mm.
no shame in that. You just get back on and go. But that's a great story.
And that was like a beautiful gift because one of the times when I was off, right, like walking again along with my bike, right, and my mind was about to like bring it in again. This because I was with all the old guys too. These
Hey, easy
wise
on the old
guys.
guy talk, okay?
Yes,
Easy. I'm
easy on the old
62.
guy. I'm talking. I'm. I don't know. He must have been in his 60s or early 70s, but he had done this thing before. He was like,
Uh,
been here, done that. He was like pedaling out of joy next to me. He goes, "Isn't it great? Isn't walking great? Isn't it awesome?" Like he just totally flipped the
that's
whole
awesome.
thing. And you know that he's at some point been off his bike walking, and he may have earlier that race. His mindset was like totally different, and that's what I think is so just so cool about it. And these athletic events in general, you just meet really fun characters, which would include myself. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, it so calls to your soulful unity. It so
Hmm.
calls to, what you talk about. I mean, like I said, I just went down this rabbit hole of Dr. Sue, and it's like that story about the bike ride is just so tied in to you and what you're doing to help
Mm,
women. But first of all, I mean, you're an actual pediatrician, right? I mean, you're an actual kids doctor.
yes, I am a medical doctor. I don't play one on TV, but I am I am a medical doctor.
But you could play one on
But I could
TV.
play
But
one
you
on
could play one on
TV.
TV. So
Probably not very well, Gary.
how did you maneuver from handing out lollipops and giving shots to
Hmm.
now transforming women and doing the mama thing and the soul unity thing when did that evolve to from one because you're still a
So
pediatrician, right? You're still a
I
functioning active.
am.
Okay.
I am still an active practicing pediatrician. And actually, mine was always out of the box. Like, I did the standard training, medical training, med school, residency. I was a chief resident, which is like a leadership, teaching, administrative role. And then I launched my very own practice. It started out as general peds, but evolved into, a consultative practice where I focus on kids' nutrition and healing
Mm.
holistically. So I've never been that traditional pediatrician practice from the beginning. I've always been my own gig, my own solo practice, and really what it's evolved over the, 20 plus years now of, I think I'm in my 23rd year now of
Wow.
really helping kids heal holistically. What happened was along the way, Gary, people are, the moms were like, well, what about me? How can you help me? Right. And so I evolved and I'm a serial entrepreneur helping women. This is my last gig. This is it. Soulful medicine is it. But
You
it was an
found it.
I
You've hit the
found it.
mother load. All right,
I've
cool.
hit the mother load. So, it was this evolution of like, well, let me try this. And it felt good for me, but not for the mom, for the woman. And then like likewise, she wanted me to do this, but that didn't really feel good. So it's like this dance of figuring out this is where I can best serve her and it's really for the greater good of humanity and kids. That's the mother load right there. Like you said, that's like the mic drop. It's all about the ripple effect of how this impacts our kids because passing this on to her children. And what are we passing on? We're passing on soulful medicine. We're passing on the fact that our souls are here to grow. And that by following what is soulful medicine, it's what fills your heart with joy and also what sculpts your soul and comes in fascinating packages that you may not have asked for, right? But if you're willing to unwrap the gift that is not looking so pretty on the outside, you probably will really find a beautiful gem that you then turn around and can support some, grow yourself and also support somebody else growing through that.
I love that because kids learn and live what they see, not what they hear,
Mm-hmm.
right? They know kids can spot a hypocrite 10 miles away, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, don't get me the do what I, say what I do what I say, or whatever that, the saying I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Um, and with my boys, like they saw me drinking these horrible shakes that I still drink, every morning with just stuff in it. And they're like, oh God, just gag, right? So, but the exercise, the eating healthy, the drinking these shakes,
Mm,
listening to the tapes in the car, the cassettes when they were in the car of
that's
positive
awesome.
stuff,
Yeah.
and now they live it. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're taking the child, when you're starting with the children, but now moving to the mom, and they can see mom, what's happening with mom, that's a huge generational shift for these
Mm-hmm.
kids. That's awesome.
It is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to witness in my own girls, they're teens and young adults now, and they've definitely learned the material, let me say, because they toss it back at to
That was
me
a deep breath.
all the time, right? Like if I'm living out of alignment, if I'm coming from a fear-based place or from a lack or from a scarcity, they're going to call me forward, just like I call them forward, and it's just beautiful. It's using tools like this morning, one of the daughters called from school, walking, she's in college, walking to class. And so she's like, okay, something's weighing on my, mind. I say it's weighing on your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and we talked through it, solutions, but in terms of like patterns, I was like, okay, the pattern I see, because in personal development, you say, see a pattern, like there's a pattern here. What's the pattern? And that's what makes whatever the issue is, neutral, right? Like it's not about me, it's not about her, it's just a pattern,
Yeah.
just a human experience. It's just a pattern that we've seen before. So you see the pattern, and then what's not working? Like, how is the pattern using you instead of you using the pattern, right? So that you create a new pattern and move on. Like to me, like turn the page, move the chapter, like evolve, up level, right?
How beautiful though that, because a lot of people haven't talked to their kids in like 4 years. And when
Mm,
COVID hit, they didn't even realize they had kids until they were like locked down in their house. Like, who are you? I didn't even know I had people living here, right? So COVID changed so much of that. Not not
mm,
not really for the better, 90% of it, but people I think now realize, I've got to take a second look at this. My relationship with my children. We can't just be staring at this thing all day and not communicate. So just the fact that your daughter would call you and say,
mm,
Mom, I want to walk through this with you.
mm.
That's such a beautiful gift.
It
Isn't
is a
that's
beautiful
such, when
gift.
my boys call me, my son Zachy will call me and say, Pops, I got a question. And I'm just like, ah, my heart just, I don't even care what it is. Like, should I get the blue, popsicle or the orange one? I don't even care what it is, right? But
That's
he
great.
called to ask Jad, right? It's
Hmm.
like, all right, man, what is it? I start crying. I'm just emotional. But
That's
so you
beautiful.
started with the children and you started with nutrition, which is so awesome. We need so many more holistic and nutrition focused
Mm,
pediatricians. Nothing against pediatricians, right? I love all doctors. They've saved my life twice. But honestly, I just think we're in a stage right now where we have to just get away from the textbook treatments that we do with children. I
hmm.
think we've woken up to the fact that that's not a really good idea. What do you think about that?
That's that's basically the pattern that I saw. So talking about patterns, the pattern that I saw in training is we patch things up, we ship them home, and then they come back. And then we patch it here, and then we ship them home, and they come back. I saw a revolving door for chronically ill kids. And I just said, I see this pattern. I didn't say it in that language, but I was like, what's up here? Like, what's really at the root of this? Like, why is this happening? So rather than just focusing on making the symptom, like, where's the root that we could actually shift and change so that this pattern goes away, basically? And that was an evolution too. I've done different healing therapies, and nutrition is what I really landed on. And I'm glad I did,
Yeah.
because it is really foundational. It's something that most people can get behind really easily, right? There's not a lot of woo woo in food. It's like, it's food,
But
you
you'd be
know?
surprised, though, but you'd be surprised how difficult it is to get an adult because if your child has something, right, that a change in diet would help. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
obvious, right? It's obvious that that situation with that child is could be helped by the changing their diet, right? I mean, you can't keep
Mm-hmm.
giving them Fruit Loops and then Cokes and then all this pizza and then all this stuff and wonder why Jimmy's like such a psycho. So, but the parents, that's why I love that you've moved to working with the mothers too, because the
Mm-hmm.
parents go, well, I'm not going to stop eating this crap. So, but if
Mm-hmm.
I try to get Jimmy to stop eating this crap, that means he sees me, it's in the fridge, and then you have to get the parent to change their lifestyle too. And that's a challenge right now, I think.
Oh yeah, and I gave up on that. Let me just say that was one of my that was one of my businesses with women, and I was like, and I'm out.
Right? Because it's
I'm
like,
out.
dude, why
I
bother? You are
you
just
know,
not gonna do this, right?
the thing is like, so this is classic in personal development, right? Is that you know what to do, eat healthy food. You know how to do it. I just gave you a system. It's super easy. And you don't do it, right? So the it's never like the problem is never the problem. So the problem is always like underneath the layer of that. Like what's the root problem as to why I'm just not aligned with following the program here. And it usually has to do with, shame and blame and guilt and fault and, not feeling worthy and deserving and just a whole magnitude of stuff that's locked in there in the subconscious, right? All these
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings and rules and beliefs. And so that's really where the magic is. And when we can get in there and find kind of the root, right? The root limiting belief, that's where, okay, how can we shift in perspective around that? Because that limiting belief, by the way, I like it's been reframed for me recently as like a protective belief or a protective rule because it's something that you learned usually as a child to live by in order to survive or be loved. And so it
Mhm.
actually served you for a period of time. It's just, however, now it's not really so serving you because you're eating like crap in this instance, right? Um, and so that, yeah, and I realized real quickly that that wasn't really, though I find very important. I really love focusing on, yeah, the that subconscious,
Mhm.
unlocking that subconscious, digging in there and figuring out. And I do it in a very playful way. So one of the playful ways that I do is tarot numerology because those were patterns that I learned and came across, my consciousness of like, whoa, what is this? Like, this is fun. And tarot, if you haven't heard of it, is it started out as a deck of playing cards. It's really just a visual representation of the soul's journey. They're archetypes. Archetypes are patterns of behavior and thoughts and feelings and whatnot, kind of. Um, and yeah, numerology are numbers, which is embedded in the tarot. And I think of it, you know what I think of it, Gary? I think of it like, do you ever remember the ink blot test
Mhm.
where the psychologist or the therapist would be like, look at the ink blot, Gary.
What
What
do
do
you
you
see?
see? Because what's fascinating is because I was, I work with, women of all, yeah, like professional backgrounds. I remember I was working with a doctor one time and she's like, doesn't everybody see that, Sue? And I'm like, no, no, no.
What
And the
might seem
reason is,
obvious to one is not obvious to all,
yeah,
right? It's
it's
like
just
laying
like,
on your back looking at the clouds. It's like, I see a dinosaur. What do you see?
yes,
Like, yeah.
that's another perfect analogy. It's like whatever is, to me, I think of it as whatever is ready. Like to me, it's kind of like a little doorway into your unconscious. Like your subconscious is just like a little doorway. Oh, so like, and that's where we can kind of get the conversation going. So I think of it, I went into medicine thinking I was going to be a psychiatrist until I saw what psychiatry was in medicine when I went through training. And then I thought, I'm not going to be a psychiatrist. I'm going to focus on those gorgeous kids in pediatrics. However, now I feel like I've kind of come full circle. I feel very much like that as a coach, coaching midlife women. I feel like it's just been a beautiful journey. That's what it's been, Gary. It's been like this beautiful. I used to think like life is a test and I'm failing. And now I think like life is a love story and I'm living it. And sometimes the love story is like beautiful and joyous. And sometimes I'm really in a pile of crap. Sometimes it's really hard, like climbing that mountain metaphorically. Sometimes I want to give up, but just sometimes it's a rom-com. Sometimes it's a sad love story. They're all beautiful. I'm in love with love. So
I did, that just brings me to, like I said, I just read so much about you, but but you're talking about your soul unity and
soulful medicine,
soulful
soulful
medicine.
medicine.
You go,
Hmm.
but unlike traditional methods that stop there, hello, most unhealthful hours of your life is someone sitting on their high horse asking, so, how does that make you feel? And I read that highlight. I go, oh my God, that's so awesome because it's so true. And then I looked at all the different modalities that
Mm,
you do.
hmm.
Um, and it's very exciting. I mean, you are not afraid to incorporate whatever you think is going to help someone, whether they get it or not. If someone thinks, well, that's a little woo-woo, whatever, like you
Mm-hmm.
talk about, I mean, just using your birth, your
Date.
astrology,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in the part of your modalities. Well, if you don't get that, that's cool. We've got a bunch of other stuff, but I love that you're fearless in adding any modality that you think is going to help someone. I think that's awesome.
Okay. That sounds nice, Gary. The truth is, the,
Did I
the
screw
tr-
that up? Did I
no,
not
no,
get that
no,
right?
no, no, no. You are right. I would say, just to be transparent, because I think we're all here living the human experience. I was fearful of putting that out there. I mean, a medical doctor who uses tarot numerology, seriously? Like, wow. Yes. If it was an evolution of like integrating, evolution of like getting into my own subconscious, working with the coaches that I work with. What is my limiting belief? How can I shift my perspective so I can shift my procedure moving forward? Am I really willing to like hold back my authentic self because I'm scared of what somebody else is going to think about this? Or am I really rooted in like, wow, the women who do love this, and I brought to tears at how it shifts their lives, and how it impacts their children. I'm going to focus on that. Right. And if it's not for you, I learned, one of the entrepreneurial businesses I did was a network marketing business. And I'm so grateful I learned to talk about humbling. That was a humbling experience for me. And also so good. It taught me so many things. And one of the things it taught me, Gary, is about neutrality. It was like, do you want this piece of gum? Yes. Do you want this piece of gum? No, I do not. Great. Would you like this piece of gum? It was like totally just like, it's a piece of gum. Do you want it or don't you want it? You know? And so that's kind of, I mean, I do coach women who don't do any of the tarot numerology. It's like not for them, because some of it is like religious, like they feel like in their religious traditional dogma, like that's not aligned, or it's not in their like curiosity or playfulness. It just doesn't light them up. So it's like, okay, cool. We don't need to play with that.
We'll
I
do
think of it
something
as like a
else. Yeah.
doctor bag. Like, okay, we'll just put that tool back in the doctor bag.
But I mean, think about it. You're a doctor, and sure you went through doctor training and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like when you walk into a doctor's office, and he's 100 pounds overweight, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he's going to talk to you about your health. You're like,
Yeah.
dude, you have zero right to talk to me about my health. Maybe you're a brilliant heart surgeon or a brilliant brain surgeon
Mm-hmm.
and you can operate and stuff like that. However, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk to you about because everything else you say is forget about it. I'm just not going to believe you. I mean, I don't even know if they teach nutrition in medical school. But so you're offering these modalities. That doesn't mean people have to accept them, bubblegum, whatever, but the fact that you're incorporating them and exposing people to them and saying, hey, this is a whole body, mind, body, soul experience, what I'm trying to do here, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very awesome. I love that. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
afraid initially, that makes sense because anytime you step out of the box, someone is going to
Mm-hmm.
smack your hand really hard because it doesn't fit in what you're supposed to
I
be
think the
doing.
biggest misconception too, which is so sweet because most recently, sometimes when it's my, it was a colleague's friend's birthday or something, So I said, "Oh, it's your birthday. Like, let's do like a reading. Let's do, I do it more in like a strat. Like, I'm not a psychic. I'm not like projecting. I don't have no idea. I believe we're born conscious with free will.
Right.
So there's a million plus different endings that could happen. The thing that I find, the reason I bring her up, she's such a beautiful soul. As soon as, she was like, yes. And then she's like, but I don't want to know anything like bad that's going to happen. I was like, okay, mama. I was like, I don't know. I was like, so the way that I do it too is it's, it's very, I'm a strategy type person. That's just like who I am,
Yeah,
So
I love it.
I call them soulful strategy sessions. So they're very like targeted, if that makes sense. Like when I just do one-off sessions, it's like, what's the problem? Okay. What have you already tried doing that's not working? What do you know that you need to do that you're just not doing it? Right. So I have like this whole series, and so it's a very like focused intention that we go in with the tarot and the numerology. But yeah, I find like
But
that's the biggest thing.
very individually focused, which I think is so awesome because, like you say,
Awesome. Yeah.
people aren't, we're not cookie cutter people. I mean, we all have different things, and I love how you use that to, like you said, so you walk into a therapist and he looks at his watch, he says, "Well, this could be a painful hour," and just goes through the same stuff. Like, psychologist for dummies pulls it off the shelf and asks you the same stupid question. But you're not. You're trying to say, okay, you're unique. So my help, my coaching, will be unique for you, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and I've thought a lot about, therapy versus coaching, right? And I think there's so many things that therapy does work well for. I don't think it's a one or the other. I think it's like a both and. And I've been thinking about that. Like therapy is often disease focused because I come from medicine, like a disease focused world. Like you have heart disease, or in the therapy world, it's like you have ADHD, you have depression, you have anxiety. That's what you go to therapy for, right? It's like usually kind of go with more of like a disease focus. Not all the time, but I find that that's like a similar thing. Or, you're referred to from a doctor to a therapist for a particular issue of anxiety or depression or attention, focus, those type of things. And I was thinking about that with coaching. It isn't disease focused at all. I actually don't have any of those labels, right? Like I don't actually know that about the person, what they've been labeled as unless they suggest it or add it. And I feel like therapy is more, has a lot of emphasis on like, you know, um, how this problem started, right? And coaching seems to me, in my experience of what I've experienced with it, because I've been through therapy myself as well. And it's it feels different in terms of the energy is forward focused. It's different in terms of like usually when you're going to therapy, it kind of my experience of going to therapy, it felt like I'm broken, can you fix me? That's what it felt like for me going through therapy. I'm broken, can you fix me? And I think that's a wonderful thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the difference in what I've experienced with coaching is like I'm working on truly believing I'm whole and that there isn't anything missing. And I'm meeting you here. I'm meeting you here. Can you walk with me through this? Meaning like in coaching, it feels more like I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not going to tell you what is or what isn't. I'm just going to ask you a question until you really own what is or what isn't. Does that make sense? It seems
Uh,
more like a forward.
it makes 100% sense. And I've been in coaching forever. I'm a real estate broker by trade. I just do this because I love to meet people like you. And,
Mm,
um, I started with a real estate coach the day I got my license, basically. And
that's
I've always believed in
awesome.
coaching. I do coaching. Um, I think it's crucial. One of the greatest athletes in the history of the world, Michael Jordan, swears by coaching. He says,
Yes.
we all need. Um, Tony Robbins has a coach, even though he's a crazy coach, right? But so I want to get into soulful unity, and I want to get into. So I just want to
Medicine.
read this real quick. I want to read this. Soulful unity provides a new way to get answers by highlighting your unique situation, desires, personality, and even the alignment of the stars in the day you're born, if you choose, and
Mm,
combining those unique pieces with tried and true personal growth strategies and genuine support. We're lovingly held to a wholehearted hour intentionally designed to help midlife women like you transform.
mm,
Love that. Love that. I got goosebumps reading it the first three times. Um,
mm.
because I love how you're encompassing that. You playfully throw in the astrology, you playfully throw in the tarot cards. Um, but your focus really is on the person and finding what's going to work with them with your coaching. It
Hmm.
seems like that's lacking, I think, in a lot. People come with the templated coaching thing, whether you're one way or another, right? It's like you need to fit in my coaching program or go find a different coach. It seems like you're more flexible in the ability to work with multitudes of people.
Yeah, and I also think um obviously just like with doctoring, right? There's no one, I'm not the right doctor for everyone. I'm definitely not the right coach for everyone. I mean, women who come to me are, that I work well with are really curious. They're spiritually curious souls.
Yeah.
And even if they're not having fun, they really do want more fun in their life. Or if they are having fun, they want to hang out with other women who are having fun. Because I do, I have a membership and it's, coaching, group coaching. We have so much fun. I realize we're like radiantly weird all coming together. Like, and that's the best part. On my website there's a quiz to take and it's a personality based quiz, and from coaching and self-development work, right? The best place is to start to know yourself better, and one of the ways that we do that is through personality type quizzes. So this is my spin on a personality type quiz. It's based off of the disc profile, right? But I
Yeah.
put fun names to them. So there's the visionary mama. She's like the Beyoncé's of the world. Twirl on them haters. We like bow down to her. We're like, how do you have so much courage? And like, how are you just so awesome sauce? And like that's her gift to the world. She calls it, she sees it, and she creates it, and makes things happen. And we love her for it. We love her courage. We love her determination. We love um yeah, we love me some Beyonce. Who does not love Beyonce? And then the tricky part is that with that like personality type, right? The trip up, or as we say, the opportunity for growth is in relationships. Visionary mamas can have a lot of masks on. They will not allow you to see into them. And so that can create relationship difficulties, because that's how we connect as people, is through vulnerability, not through being perfect. We connect through being vulnerable with each other. The inspirational mama, you might guess I have a lot of inspirational mama in me. They're like the sunshine people. They're like the glass is half full. People want to be with you because you're generally positive. You're a good time. Like you're gonna see the benefit rather than the drawback and things. The downfall of the inspirational mama is everything shiny. Like I like that and I like that and I like that. And they're like, and also I'll have a little bit of that, a little bit of that. I want that too. And then their energy just gets dispersed. So they're not moving forward.
That's the squirrel. That's the squirrel in me.
Yeah,
I am the squirrel.
you are the squirrel. I
I
see a
am
lot
the
of
squirrel.
inspirational in you. And then the other is the giver mama. The giver mama is usually, if you have birth children in this world or your babies are of animal nature, like they bring out the mama in you. Like the giver mama just gives as easy as breathing. She'll listen to you for hours. She'll do anything for you. You know, the downfall of the giver mama is she can become a doormat.
Yeah.
Like it's great until she's resentful, because who's asked her about what she needs? Nobody, you know? So and then the last one is the detail mama. Detail mama is like the spreadsheet maker. She's the one who's dot the I's and cross the T's. She's the one that I love because she's organizing my life. Like I hire detail mamas. Like create the spreadsheet. That's your happiness. That's my like she'll make it color coded for me so I see colors, so things are like happy in there in that spreadsheet. um, the downfall of the detail, or like the challenges, is like everything's so organized and so like together that their life can get a little dry, a little boring. Like they got to shake it up. So that's why I love working with groups of women too, is because everybody has a little. I mean, essentially, we all have all parts of those in us. It's just that we naturally tend towards, expressing on the outside at least one. And so, yeah, it's just really cool to see like a visionary mama with a giver mama just be like, girl, that is not okay. Like, no, no, no more. We're not doing that anymore. Let's go, you know? So it's
I
really
love
cool to
that.
see like we all rise up together. Yeah.
That is such an awesome package to put that together. Right? It's like my son, he is my oldest son is my business partner. We run the company together.
Okay.
And he is that guy. He's Mr. I don't even know what you call the thing that has all the lines on it. Everyone's
Yes.
got one
Oh, he's
and
a detail
it's a
dude.
program thingy. and he loves it, and he's got the numbers and the X's and O's, and I just look at it like, yeah, don't show me that anymore. I mean, I don't, I have a headache. I have to go lay down. But that's where he geeks, right? And that's why we
Hmm.
work, although, sometimes we clash because of that, but
Yes.
that's how it works. Um, and the other thing I love about you, what you're doing is, since women have become free to go work and burn their bras
Mm,
and all this stuff, now they have three jobs instead of one job.
yes.
And so they get up, they take care of the kids, they baby their husband, they change his diaper, they make him lunch, they make him breakfast, they send him to work. And then they go to work, and then they come home, and he sits on the couch with a beer and watches the Sports Center. And then she cooks dinner and takes the kids with homework and does. It's like mamas need a crew. They need a tribe.
Mm.
Mamas need somewhere where they can go and say, "This sucks. I'm not happy doing this stuff, right? And I
That's
want
so
to be a good
true.
mom, right? And a good
Sometimes,
wife, but help
yeah.
me."
Like Gary, I feel like sometimes the soulful medicine is just listening. Sometimes soulful medicine is just being the container to hold you so that you can just really clear the dirty air that this sucks, you know? Because you know who my husband I get to call forward is an amazing soul who does a lot of things. Often people around here are like, "What do you do, mom?" I was like, I take care of relationships and the food. Okay. I'm in charge of nutrition and relationships around here.
That's my zone. All
That's
right.
my
That's
zone.
my
I'm
zone.
going to stick to it. He does laundry, he vacuums, he's amazing, my husband. The other entity though that we get to bring in is our parents, right? We're in the sandwich generation,
Wow.
right? And so
Yeah.
that's what like is really on my heart right now because in addition to like wheeling and dealing between patients and clients and mom this, it's like attending the doctor's appointments, navigating the end of care life, right? Like all those things that
We
you
are
want.
we are now the parent and they are now the child. It's
Yeah.
bizarre. My mom's 90, and
Oh, so is
and it's just
mine.
like, dude, oof. It's and and I have grandkids now, so like you're like my grandson, all right? Except I like him more. Mom, you're driving me nuts.
Mm,
But so the main focus is um soulful medicine. Is that the
mhm.
main thing? And then underneath that you have the soulful unity and the coaching and all the other stuff. But
Yeah,
soulful
basically,
medicine, is that the main thing?
soulful medicine is the whole thing. And then underneath there's one-on-one coaching, there's the membership, which is group coaching, and also a community, like you can connect as a community. And there's courses. I call them rituals because again, I'm an inspirational mama. We don't want more work. We don't want workshops. We want
No.
rituals.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, and then I blog as well. I'm on Substack blogging. So those are like my three offerings. And yeah, it's all under the umbrella of soulful medicine.
So then how do you do the coaching then? Is it all online? Do you have
It's
some
all
people who come
online.
in? It's all online. So it is. So
Hmm.
do you
This
talked
is
about
my
the different.
office, Gary.
I love the office. I love the office. Is it a real office or is it virtual? Because I see the
It's
picture
a
up there. I'm
it's a real
like,
office. That's my oldest.
is it really? It's
Hmm.
so like it. I thought it was like an animated office because it just is so perfect and soothing.
Right.
Like,
It's
but when
funny
you
for a
move,
long time I wanted furniture in here and then the more I was in here without furniture, I was like I do not want furniture in here. Like the more empty space, I need more empty space.
yeah, and I've got the exact opposite. I've got the complete squirrel mess behind me that is just like got to be distracting and crazy. But I love that room. I've
Mm.
decided that I want a room like that. Because
Hmm.
what I'm trying to do is I've almost died and I've been super healthy my whole life. And then 4 years ago, I got cancer. And this year, I had a heart attack, which was really bizarre.
Wow.
But the doctor told me, dude, your heart's perfectly healthy. Just stress and grief
Hmm.
um, broke your heart. You're,
Hmm.
so I've decided I'm going to put together a room like that where I walk in and I go, ah.
Yeah, and exhale.
Yeah, I like that room a lot. So when you're doing your virtual coaching, I just you've been so great with your time. I don't want to take too much more, but you mentioned the different people, the different, the disc, but you've put the really cool spin on the disc. Do you put one of each of those in each group, or you just however
We're
the
all
group kind of
together.
forms? You're all together.
We're all together.
I love that. That has got to be one joyful, soulful mama event going on in there.
Yeah, we laugh, we cry, we just let it all hang out, you know. And by the way, also, if you're a detail mama being like, I don't want to let anything hang out, Sue, you know,
Oh, it's coming
there,
out, mama. It's coming out. We're here to drag it right out of your
there's,
ass right now.
there's also women who never attend the live. They never come live. They're all behind the scenes. And, you know, and I find that's beautiful too. So they're doing their inner work, they're going through their rituals, they're doing the challenges with us, they're watching the recordings, right? And they're growing. I know they're growing, they're still there, you know.
Awesome.
We don't see them like yet. Maybe we will someday. I don't know. I think that's the beauty of it. It honors everybody, like wherever you're at. Like as an inspirational mama, I'm all about connection. Like I get to connect with you. Like I want you there. And also though, I think it's beautiful that it honors, it's done in a way, it's set up in a way where, you know, you can be kind of in the background or you can, you know, and I've had a detail mom share that with me. Like it's beautiful because you can attend, you know, and don't say anything and nobody cares if you say anything or not. We're just happy you're there, you know, including if you're just there totally in the background, right? So,
Very safe. That's a very safe
mm,
place to just put your toe in the water. Because let's face it, I mean, a lot of people, and unfortunately, a lot of women who are, like when we tell our kids are supposed to be seen and not heard, and you sit in the corner, and a lot of women just do your job and yada yada. And a lot of people are not initially able to do that until they have that safe space where they can put
mhm,
your toe in and they can gradually start letting themselves breathe because they're holding in their
mhm.
breath. They're not even breathing. And I think you give them a safe space to breathe, and that's pretty awesome.
And to be, yeah, and to be unconditionally accepted and belong.
Yeah. We all
Like
need a
just,
tribe, right? We all
yeah.
need a tribe. So you've
Mm-hmm.
got the mama tribe.
I've got the
I
mama, the soulful mama
love it.
tribe.
The soulful mama tribe. So, Dr. Shu, you've been awesome. You've been amazing. And
Mm.
I feel bad because I lied to you earlier. I'm a liar. I can't. I just lie. Men lie. I said I had one question, but I actually have two questions. I gave you the
Oh,
what if
okay.
you could question, but I don't ever give
Good for
everybody,
you.
never give everybody the last question. So my last question before we tootle off is, if you have a message, a saying, could be
Mm.
from a fortune cookie that you read, or is there something that means something to Sofa Mama that you'd love to leave us with before we wander off? What would that last thought be?
What it is, this is a tool that I've shared and I've my kids know it and the mamas know it. And some of them post it all around their house to remind them. The tool is based in the framework that we with personal development, and this I learned from Tony Robbins, basically. If you ask a shitty question, you'll get a shitty story and you'll probably come up with a shitty strategy. So it's so so on that frame, it's about asking a more empowering question, asking a better question. And the question is, what would love do? What would love do? And you can use this in any situation. Like you could use it while you're driving and having some road rage and be like, what would love do right now? Um, and the beauty part is that it helps you in really hard situations. Like there's so many times where my girls have come to me and they're like, Mom, what should I do? And they're like, don't say it. Mom, don't say it. I'm like, I gotta say it. I get to say it. What would love do?
She
And the
said it.
reason is, she said it. And the reason is because naturally, Gary, I believe that that is our natural state. Our natural state is a loving state. And that's why it feels so terrible when we're in these other states that do serve their purpose, like anger and resentment and frustration and overwhelm and self loathing, which I was in yesterday and even this morning. Like they're very helpful. All emotions are helpful. However, I feel like we get to come back to our natural, beautiful, loving state. And so when we're confused, but usually we're not confused, we usually know. It's just whether or
Yeah.
not you're willing to really ask. So the reason I ask that is because it allows the freedom to really acknowledge what love would do. So it kind of separates it from you, right? Like even if you're not quite ready to do that, you're like, well, love would forgive,
Mm.
or love love would lean in, or love would let go.
We, you mentioned love earlier, and I wrote it down, and I was going to bring it up, but we just had so much more fun stuff to talk about. But truly, I think we come out of the womb loved, and we just are a soul that wants love. And unfortunately, a lot of times we'll risk anything for it. We'll put ourselves in the worst spots. We'll sacrifice ourselves. We'll take second place for stuff to because we're searching for love. Because I think at our core, that's just what really everybody wants. That feeling of
And
that
us
love.
so is. So I am love, and you
Mm.
are love.
Yeah. I'm reading a book by Terry Whitaker, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called Find Your Bliss.
Mm.
And one of the chapters she goes through just exactly what you're saying: anger, resentment, blame, depression, da blah 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 blah. And as I'm reading it, I got goosebumps again. As I'm reading it, I'm like, she's telling me why I got cancer and why I had the heart issue. She's telling me in
Mm.
this book because it wasn't physical. There's no, I'm perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with me. And the doctor said, yeah, you're going to live another 50 years. It was mental. I literally
Mm.
was holding on to these things that finally poisoned me to the point of breaking me. It's like, dude, if you're not going to wake up and listen to what I'm telling you, I'm just going to give you cancer and stop you in your tracks. And when that
Mm.
didn't work, because I'm too stubborn and stupid, they just put me in the hospital with heart attack, right? So it's like, maybe somebody's trying to tell me. And so as I was reading that the last couple of days, I've reread the chapter a couple times, and she's going through this. I'm just going, dude, you know that. You know that. How did you let all this happen, And we really do need a soulful mama. We do need a tribe. We do need people to talk to. We need people to let things out. We do need people to allow us to help us. And we do need love.
Thank you for sharing that, Gary, because I do believe like it brings up another point, which is the important part of self development, personal development, spiritual development is to allow these stuck emotions to move. Like emotions are energy in motion, right? So it's like, get it out, like literally move it.
It's like a
And
stuck
so,
bowel movement. Let it out. It's making you
yeah.
uncomfortable. It's poisoning your body, right? It's literally the toxins that's poisoning your body.
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful to witness that in you and for you to share that, because I do believe that what I see in that is that's another reason why I do what I do, because it's also not just about mental emotional health, it's also about physical health for ourselves and for our children.
I love that so much. Dr. Sue, you're
Mhm.
awesome. I love everything about Dr. Sue. So please tell us what you're doing, what's coming up next. How do we find Dr. Sue? How do we connect with you and all your good, yummy stuff?
Yeah, the best way is to connect with me by my website, drsuemccreadie.com. So DrSuemCCREADIE.com. And that's where I think the best place to start is take the quiz. It's right there. Take the quiz and discover more about yourself, like your gifts. Like you have gifts and you're probably not acknowledging them. And so I'm here to witness you and your gifts, and then also to, show you what might be challenging you, right? And then how to grow through that. So, yeah.
Well, and you're super fun, and everything about you is awesome. I'm just going to read one quick thing real quick because I know we got to have taken a lot of time, but I just love this. About Dr. Sue, you'll often find me healing little ones through nutrition in my pediatric practice, reading tarot cards in my pajamas, savoring a medicinal mushroom hot chocolate, dancing between Peloton reps, and laughing around the dinner table, ideally when someone else has done the cooking. Guys, that
Amen.
is Dr. Sue, and I love her, and I love all of this, and I want to be a chick because I could be a chick if I wanted to be, because I love the tribe, and Dr. Sue, you're just wonderful, and I swear, guys, you go to her website, you will just smile all the way through your website. I did. I just enjoyed the website so much. There's so much on there. There's so many gifts on there, and you'll see Dr. Sue sleeveless. She's got some guns. Like she's like got better arms than me. So everything about her website is great. And it is drsuemccreadie.com. Please go find her. You'll be glad you did. So thank you, Dr. Sue. I'm grateful you're
Thank you,
here.
Gary. So grateful.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. See ya. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of What If You Could podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, and give us any feedback. We'd love to hear it. And remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. See you next time.